What up, Try Swim Coach fans? Welcome to the show. Like it, subscribe it, share it, leave a comment down below. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate you. We're gearing up for swim camps in 2025. We're planning a camp in Austin, Texas at the end of March. I love Austin so much. It's going to be really fun. We're planning on a camp in Salt Lake City, Utah for mid-July. Never been. I'm excited to see what Salt Lake City has going on. And of course, our Bahamas trip in February, which is already sold out, which I'm super stoked for. Love that trip so much. Stay up to date or updated with all things Try Swim Coach by following us on Instagram, Facebook, or just checking tryswimcoach.com. All right, let's jump in. Because I just don't know. Like, we were already talking about how you need culture because you don't have any and you've experienced nothing in your life. But yet, here you are in existence, kind of thriving in existence. Maybe. I don't know. Do you really need culture if you... Yeah, you do.
You totally need culture. How would you get references about things that you like make fun of nowadays?
There's a good side and a bad side to the internet. So like when I meet people who are like chronically not on the internet, I always am like envious in some ways.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought that you went to internet for culture, right? That's a big... I wouldn't make that leap, but it makes sense.
Yeah, but from like it's my generation, it is the culture as what you.
Were you Gen Z?
Yes, I'm like one of the oldest Gen Zs.
Borderline. Kind of like I'm a borderline millennial.
Ooh.
Yeah, I feel like I identify more millennials than Gen Zers because I don't know any or most of the slang. So when I have a young kid who's like a Gen Z and they tell me that, I'm like, I'm so glad.
I feel like when I was in my 20s and 30s, I identified with Gen X more so than millennials. But now that I'm in my 40s and Gen X is in their 50s, I identify more with millennials than Gen X.
Yeah,
It's weird.
I can't
It's
remember.
to you too,
What's
you're on
the
same
cutoff? Do you remember the cutoff?
it's for Gen X millennial or Gen Zs.
Both of them.
I was born in 1982, so it's going to be like around there.
For me,
I think 1980 is the start of the millennial distinction.
I was born 98, so I think the cutoff is 96 or 95. So I'm about there.
So without culture, how do you talk to people about swimming? And I'm saying that in a weird way and thinking about this because I do so much analogy work, I guess, or metaphor,
Yeah.
right? I always sort of like try to bring something to people that they understand. And it's also, I don't know how you connect with somebody if you don't understand their culture, but I know you understand culture in the United States. You're just not cultured.
Just such a good story.
Like, so, and now, okay, now it's just,
You use analogies to coach?
yeah, I do.
Okay.
I mean,
What
like,
was the last analogy you used?
a med ball slam.
Okay, so
That was it.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
I
your
was
world.
like, you're really angry. Throw a med ball down.
What was that in reference to?
I was breaking down the freestyle stroke, or actually it was in fly too. And I was teaching her to like pull the water back to lift herself out of the water.
You mean push the water back.
Yeah.
Push
We'll say push.
forward.
Is a med ball slam a push?
Or a pull.
Is it? I don't know.
This is I know we talked about this before. In regards to like is it a push or a pull, I view it as a pull. Just like you, I feel like the more muscle groups that you use is a back muscle, and what people tend to view that in the gym as pulling. I get what you mean by saying it's a push, so I kind of just say it interchangeably. So I always say this sometimes in my clients. I'm like push pull.
What?
Yeah,
It's like left right.
Yeah. We're like, mainly I don't let people say pull.
I think of it as a misnomer in the swimming world.
yeah.
And it's just so interesting to hear how you think of the muscles that you use to determine what the action is.
Yeah.
I think of the action to determine how to define it, right? Like a pulling action versus a pushing action, right?
Yeah.
It's a weird thought, but to me, ball slam is mostly a push. Mostly.
I would
That's
think
to me.
so. But that's- yeah, it's like what did you take it from to put it in that context too first?
What?
No?
What did you just say?
What did you take? Oh God, can I? Like where did your brain start when it started to think about your definition of X?
Are you asking me
Oh,
or
push.
Ryan?
No, I'm trying to articulate it.
And I'm trying to connect.
I'm trying to get there too. Are you cultured? How do you communicate?
Listen. I think it depends where, no matter what you're trying to explain, it depends where you get to at the end matters where your brain chooses to start from. Right? So like,
Okay. Follow you.
right? So who knows where anyone's brain went when we were like push pull? You don't know. Right? You have no idea. What did you picture? What words did you think? What action?
What muscles did we
Did you-
move?
That's why I connected it to.
Right? So, like, if you're taking it from swimming and trying to explain outward, I think you can make it like that's why I don't let people say pull.
Sure.
Because also, my first connotation of the word pull in association with the thought of swimming is how I used to swim, which is what gave me my injuries.
Right.
And the way I won't let people swim now. And so it has like an image to me of me keeping my elbow into my body, grabbing something.
Like a door.
I always picture a rope.
Okay. The tug of war.
It's always a rope. Yeah. And then I keep my elbow tucked in as I pull and bring my elbow back behind my body. That's me pulling,
To me, when someone says pull, that's a pulling action.
right? The amount
Right?
of
You open the door
times.
that way, you row a boat that way. All right. That's a pulling action.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I don't have any ideas. I don't know what else you pull. Other than
And then,
doors
like,
and boats.
Right? So like I picture a
ropes.
rope and then I'm like, why am I picturing a rope? And it's not that I'm picturing like a tug of war. I'm picturing someone like feet planted in a stance, trying to hold your ground and pull. That's what I just picture, right? So like who knew I was gonna go there? And why do I go there? I don't know. I really don't.
But you do.
But then like I'm assuming that there's like a generalized portion of the population that probably goes pull, a lat pull down. Okay, I know what they're talking about. Let's continue. Right. And then they don't think about it in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a pull up. Exactly.
I
So then
always try-
depending on where your brain went
Yeah.
when you first had the thought leads you down all of the different paths. And so I think that's why people have trouble understanding too, because in case you guys didn't know, not everyone has an inner voice.
Or not everyone has a visual mind.
Yep.
Which is really weird, but to me,
So then
I'm
it can be
super
hard when like
Yeah.
you do have an inner voice and you're trying to explain something to someone who doesn't, or you do have a visual mind and you're trying to explain something to someone who doesn't.
so I always try to educate my swimmers that most swimming terminology comes from rowing sports. Right? Sculling. That's a nautical term.
Is it?
Catch.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Pause the trolley. What does sculling mean outside of swimming?
Sculling used to be a mode of transportation. They basically took a rudder and moved it back and forth, and that would move the boat forward, just like your hand would move back and forth in swimming. It's the same action. So
Oh,
it's actually a nautical term.
that's fascinating.
Boats like when we go to the Bahamas, the ferry back a long, long time ago used to use sculling to get across.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Crazy, right?
Cool.
Those forearms must have been massive. to think of.
Yeah.
So pulling is a rowing term. And think about how somebody pulls when they're doing crew or a rowboat.
Yeah.
That's a pull motion, right? But it is weird because I think when you're vertical, you think of pushing as away from you.
Yeah.
Right. But if you think vertical and you're thinking swimming, you would think maybe your hand's going toward you, so therefore it's pulling, but it's not. It's
What
pushing
what are
under
you?
you.
Yeah, what are you pulling? Nothing. You can't pull anything.
You're pushing yourself forward for sure.
Would that be because you use pushing synonymously with propulsion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, for a very long time, and I know Alyssa probably still does this, I do it not as consistently as Alyssa, but I do try to refer to when we work on someone's arm being under the water. I try to avoid using the word pull and try to use propulsive phase so that it's less about pushing or pulling, but more about the whole action. So, and since we're talking about that, and you're talking about your mud belt slam, kind of in the same, because you live in a strength and conditioning mindset world.
Yeah.
Right. And we talked last time on the podcast about how I like to run. I was a runner for a while. And so I work with so many triathletes. I always try to equate something in swimming to the bike or the run. And so what I've been doing is I try to explain what I would sort of shorthand describe as the physics of swimming and then say, okay, if you were running, as soon as you plant your foot on the ground, that's an anchor point. That foot remains on the ground as your body pushes past that anchor point, and that anchor point picks up exactly where it left off. That is the same thing that your hand is supposed to be doing when you swim. So the difference, though, isn't when your hand hits the surface. It's when you set your catch, that's your anchor point. So then as you push through...
Yeah.
I looked at listen for that one. As you
to say.
push through, that anchor point is technically remaining in the same spot if you're doing it correctly, and your body is traveling past that anchor point and is exiting the water at the same spot in which you set that anchor point. So I give them all that, but this is sort of the analogy I use. When your foot and you're running, your foot makes contact on the ground. You're supposed to be using a couple of different muscles there.
A couple,
But
too.
most people would say you should be using your glute in that moment to help push yourself forward. Ryan, what's the equivalent to your glute in your thoracic spine?
Ooh.
You don't have to be exact.
What is your thoracic spine?
So I know I've said this to you before, Ryan, that I believe that your thoracic spine is your upper back butt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because they view structure bone-wise, they're very similar.
Right. And they
You
move
even
very
told
similar.
me that when
Yeah.
we were talking about my neck problems.
Yes.
And I was like, I understand my pelvis.
My
so
brain,
well.
I'm still waking up.
Right? So
I think I know. What is
I'm
it,
trying to
Ryan?
get them to understand that concept.
Wait, you have to answer the question.
What?
What's the upper? What's the
It's not
glute?
it's not about knowing an exact muscle because it's not an exact muscle. I get people to think about the shoulder blade
There's
because then it gets all the muscles.
if you want to
I'd
get
say
into
your
the,
lat.
if you want to get into anatomy of it,
Lat front. Ryan and I agree. Not really
Well,
upper
that's
back.
because
glute.
I know, and I go for more of an engagement feeling, because I'm like, you don't know anatomy. I make that assumption because I make the assumption that no, I'm stupid. I'm sorry. I know I am stupid. I don't know things. So I go, everyone's gonna be on my level.
We're gonna make everyone stupid.
We're all gonna talk about this.
if
right?
you want to get a little technical, it's like there's three muscles. You got your glute medius, your glute max, and there's a glute. There's a third part in the muscle in the glutes, and there's like 16 muscles in the back. So it's kind of hard to equate that.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah, you're not gonna be
Boys.
precise, but
Yeah.
it'll be like mid trap, rhomboids. I don't know what else is back there that'll do it.
yeah, they're similar. That's the point.
Right. Later scap.
What's gap?
Elevators, yeah.
We're getting into.
Yeah, I don't want to get too technical.
I'm just thinking.
You
Okay.
totally can. I just don't.
I'm just thinking. But anyway, my point is, I try to get people to understand that their thoracic spine works like their glutes do.
Yeah.
All right. And so, if you can kind of think about your arms as front legs, then you could start to understand that we're crawling through the water. You set an anchor point, and you have to use your upper back butt to move your front legs, not your arms, in order to push you forward.
See, like no one knew that I was just going to imagine humans with two butts when you said that.
We're just
That's
butts.
That's what I was trying to invoke, actually.
So good.
We're just butts.
We
I-
just all got them.
At some point in my career, I realized if I can say ridiculous things and make people have ridiculous images in their head, they stick better.
Yep.
One thing, I mean, you mentioned earlier by talking about crawling for the water, because that's actually a thing I've been playing around with in the gym with some like clients to help them kind of develop that coordination on land, because you can kind of connect that to water. I have so many people where like I do a bear crawl where they have to kind of like move opposite limbs at the same time.
Yep.
And they just like, they're like, oh, I can't even do that. I'm like, so how are we going to be able to kick and move our arms at the same time we're swimming?
Except you can, because that's walking.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. What are you talking about?
I
You
think
do
it's
this all
the
the time.
additional. It's there's 5 components. It's not left arm, right leg,
Yeah.
left leg, right arm.
It's-
It's also core.
Yes, there's that. It could all kind of connect.
Core. I love the core.
My point is, I'm using that to kind of play around and connect it to stuff, and I've seen some interesting results with that.
Like what?
I guess just improving the coordination, improving core strength.
Doing a bear crawl.
Yeah, doing the bear crawl on land.
It's one of my favorite.
That's
I
one
think,
of my favorites. to teach.
non-technical like exercises to give somebody.
Well, like I showed them that, and they're like, "Oh, okay." And they're like, "Why is this so? Why can't I do it?" And I'm like, "When's the last time you crawled around? You're a baby."
Yeah,
was-
no, it's so true.
There was a period where I used to crawl, do bear crawls across
Oh my
the
god,
hallway,
I forgot that.
just like to travel around the house. Just
like I'm not gonna work out today.
I would just do bear
It's
crawls for
great.
like 10 minutes.
Imagine we had to do that like all day, every day.
It's so hard.
Who would we basically be gorillas? Or
Well, it's especially if you work on it from like a technique standpoint, like how often are you going to have to retuck your pelvis? How often are you have to drop a hip back down? How often are you going to have to make sure that your arm is in the correct position to use your lat in coordination with your oblique while you're pushing forward with your glute and your hamstring? Ooh, that was fun.
I mean, I was going to say, it's just a shit in like center of gravity, because you're going from, we're used to being vertical all the time, and now suddenly you're horizontal, and how often do you do that on land? When you sleep, you don't move much.
But then you also just
Speak for
like,
yourself.
shifting gravity.
Then you falling over, I guess, all the time.
But like speaking of it in that sense, like shifting your gravity.
Yes,
So
you
don't
feel your center of
feel
gravity.
gravity in the water.
You feel buoyancy in the wall.
Buoyancy, yeah, it's a little
Right.
different, but it's still like just orientation of yourself.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's one reason why I find such joy in Pilates.
Emphasis and joy. Okay.
I do actually find joy in it. It's gross joy, but it's joy. Because you're on land. There is gravity. It's the feeling that you're more used to. Is the feeling that you understand. And like conceptually, it's not like every time we all walk into the water, we go, "Ugh," until now, gravity gone. You know, you're not like actively aware of it.
Right.
And I mean, why would you be? You're thinking about a whole other slew of issues, quote unquote. There's just things that you have to pay attention to when you're submerged. So I find it very difficult personally to find correct body awareness for a first time for something that I'm having trouble with in the water. Like
I clarify. Is there an example? Because I'm trying to like picture something, but I can't.
I use my core 100% of the time when I swim.
And when you say that,
And I don't 100% feel it when I first learned to use my core when I
when
swim.
you say that, you're not saying you're squeezing your abs.
That
You're
I'm not
using your
I'm using it. I don't feel the muscle engagement of it in the water. When I first learned the concept to do that, I could not feel the engagement of what I was doing. So I didn't understand how, when I lost the position of what I was doing, how to get it back, because I didn't really get it, even though I'd been in the position successfully. Doing it on land gave my brain just such a better understanding of, oh, I did go into a movement to do something. It is different than a flexion, and I can feel that I've made an engagement here
Where?
on land.
Where on your body? The whole core?
Just for this, in just my core. I can feel when it's engaged more, and I better understand the difference of a flexion and an engagement.
There's a
When
lot
I'm
going
on
on in
land.
swimming too. So
Well, there's so much going on. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
say, like, for one of those things, you don't actively think when you get into a pool that gravity's gone. It's not like your brain goes, oh, I'm purple now. I live red, but right now I'm purple. Like, it doesn't.
have you ever experienced taking a break from swimming? I don't know how long. Maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months. Jumped into a pool to swim and work out, and you could feel your body sort of like automatically shift into swimming positions. It was like, oh my god, you almost feel like a transformer. Like you hit the water, like it's like, oh, I didn't forget how to do this. It
In a
just goes right
negative
along.
way. I feel that in a negative way.
What does that mean?
Like creaky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm like
Yeah.
dusting off cobwebs and I'm like, oh, that right. Oh God. That's hard to write. I forgot. I have to try there. I'm not just floating and moving my limbs. That's what I say to everyone. I'm like, swimming is not just floating and flailing our limbs about. Like it is effortsome. What?
Well, I'm trying to think of like for myself. I mean, I'll was just my own line. I feel like I tend to actually have to like keep reminding myself about like postural stuff. Like, oh wait, why am I arching my back? Yes, back. And like I have to keep going back. Even now, like I just on this morning, I'm still thinking about that a little bit, and it just kind of, I don't know. In my brain, it's like the thing I always have to keep going back to because I tend to just let my back arch too much, and that causes more problems for me.
I would say it causes problems for a lot of people.
Yeah. But no, yeah, it's like, I guess that's the only way.
Interesting. So, going back to the push-pull thought,
My favorite.
I don't know why, but I always find it really interesting to think about how opposites are actually quite similar. And I use the example left and right. Your left hand is very similar to your right hand, but it is opposite,
They're sisters. They're brothers.
right? So
They're not
push and
twins.
pull,
Right?
they're not twins.
They're not twins.
Yeah. Right? Push and pull, there's got to be a similarity there.
Yeah,
Right?
there's
They're opposite of each other, but they're close.
yin and yang,
It's kind of an
two
interesting
sides
thing.
of the same coin.
That just reminded me of like a doctor's appointment I had recently where I asked the differences between two pills.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, oh, well, this isn't going to be like the best answer for you, but they're basically the same. It's like your right and your left hand.
Oh, yeah.
One works for like 50% of people and one works for the other 50%. So if you try one, it doesn't work. 9 times out of 10, the other one's going to work. And she was like, just because of the chemical makeup of your body.
It's crazy.
And I think it's fascinating that it's sort of like, that's the answer.
Yeah.
That's as much as we know about
Yeah.
the answer.
Yeah.
That's why I always love it when I'll tell people that they have a loading arm and an exploding arm, and they go, well, I'm right-handed, so. Like, that doesn't matter.
You have 2 arms.
That don't matter.
Great.
It doesn't matter what your dominant side is. That's a mental thing, right? I mean, because left-handed people for many, many, many years were forced to use their right hand, and magically they were able to. That's a mental thing, right? Where like a loading arm or an exploding arm is from the concept of a loading leg, exploding leg. That's a positional thing. That's how your pelvis is positioned, how your ribs are positioned, and then where your shoulder blades are sitting. They're going to determine which arm is better at loading weight versus which arm is better at moving fast.
Where does that term come from?
What?
Exploding.
It refers to being able to jump off of a foot. Like an exploding leg is a jumping leg.
So like basketball?
Yeah.
Well, even just fucking feel like when people like do high jump or what's it? They run up and they go long jump. Yeah.
Such a swimmer. That's the thing when they jump and there's like
They go forward. Yeah, they go forward.
There's sand, not the pole.
Not the full. Well, I mean, depending on that too, but they always land in a stagger stance and they go off in a stagger stance. So they're rotational. Yes, there's a rotational component to it as well because they have to kind of twist in midair. They do it. And so, yeah, so the whole idea of the exploding leg, loading leg makes sense because there's always going to be a rotational component to it.
Now, I've been told by a physical therapist that someone could adjust their pelvis to have 2 exploding legs. But he made it very clear
At the same time?
that is only appropriate for a professional athlete who is getting paid millions of dollars to basically make their body not work properly afterward. Because you need both.
But you got like a yacht.
But if you don't want to be predictable as a basketball player, and I always jump off of my left foot, you need both feet to be explosive or you can be predictable.
The ability to. So
yeah,
almost be like ambidextrous with it.
A little bit, yeah.
I don't want to say what you just said about your PT. Like I almost disagree with it.
You can. And no friend of mine.
Well, I mean, like, I get to
Just
the
an
point, like,
instructor.
yes, because, like, I mean, I guess the one example I can go in my head, 'cause I keep telling some of my clients this, Usain Bolt has scoliosis and he has an uneven running stride. I had to say that in my degree program, one of my things we had to talk about that, and I was just kind of like, the fastest man in the world was uneven and has scoliosis.
You mean he's not perfect?
He's not perfect.
Could be he's only doing 100 yards.
So I mean,
meters.
the whole idea that like, oh, you should be able to get both legs exploding. Like, I'm like, well, does that actually? How does that benefit you? Do you want that rotational component? Because that is really a fundamental movement of being human. You have to be able to rotate, and you have two floating legs that kind of inhibits your ability to rotate. Which I mean, that could. Trying to get words
How
out.
would it inhibit your ability to rotate?
Because both legs are doing the same thing at the same time. So you're just kind of moving in like, you're just moving like flat versus.
Why is it happening at the same time? I thought it was just having the ability to do it with both legs, not necessarily at the same time.
Well, because when you're walking, you're using both sides of your pelvis at the same time.
I just imagined everyone hopping around like bunny rabbits walking.
Yeah.
That would be.
I thought you meant the ability to do it.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, the ability to use both legs as exploding legs.
Logically, can you do that? I mean, you would just hop around, right? Like you. I'm not trying to be.
I need to think on this more now.
I have no idea. The point is that we have one limb of your set of limbs that is going to be better at holding weight, and one limb that's going to be better at sort of moving quickly.
Yeah.
Right? I see it every single day in every single client that I have. And I love it. I love a good asymmetry.
I was gonna say, but if like if we went back to my point though, you kind of need both to do it. That kind of thing. You need to lower on one side to move the other leg quickly over the other.
Maybe. Let's talk about swimming, right? Think about arms. Do you need both to do that for your arms? I would say no.
No.
But they'll move at different rates.
Yeah.
What's really, it's a syncopation. Swimming is like, a tempo trainer is a great tool.
Yeah. I remember.
Right? But that will only get you so far in your ability. I think it'll get you to like a good intermediate level swimmer.
Yeah.
Because I would say an advanced swimmer is playing jazz versus classical music, right? An advanced swimmer is using their asymmetries to the advantage versus trying to force symmetry. Because when you try to force symmetry, you're not going to be symmetrical. And so it's like a frivolous act. It just doesn't really produce anything. Science always says that symmetry is the best way to perform. But as you just pointed out, Usain Bolt, fastest man ever, was it symmetrical? Because humans aren't. So
think no.
science models are always done in these like, I find very ridiculous approaches. Like they're not really attributing human qualities to these models necessarily. So, I mean, Teo Hideki's a great example of an asymmetrical swimmer who performs very well. All swimmers are asymmetrical, whether they lean into it or not. So, does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I
I
feel
feel
like
like I lost myself.
no. Well, where I go with that is when I explain that your arms are not in the same distance away from your spine. Your shoulder blades are like your right one is going to be
Yeah.
2 inches and your left one's 4. You know, whatever, something like that. And so I'm telling people the work that you put in is not symmetrical, but we want the output to be as efficient as possible.
Yeah.
And so in order to achieve that, we just go off of your asymmetries to make you work as efficient and symmetrical. I want to say that.
Yeah. As long as shoulder blades pass by each other, no matter somebody's asymmetry, they will always have good timing. It is the craziest fucking thing to watch.
Because it just like does it for you, right?
Yep.
I mean, when you make that movement correctly, it's just like
Yep.
ka-chunk,
If you're
ka-chunk.
not using your shoulder blades, the movement's wrong, and then your timing will be wrong. I always think about how like timing is completely made up, just like timing is made up. It's all relative, right? So like, if I change the way I move, therefore my timing will change. So you don't ever force timing. You change the way you move, and you get better timing. And that timing is all dependent on your asymmetries.
I love it. It's so fascinating.
These are the types of conversations I have with my clients.
I
was going to
I
say,
work
Ryan,
with-
how do you have what conversations you have with your
And
client?
it just said that like you're so much better than us.
Whoa!
Good for you.
The conversation started with Ryan not having culture and not,
We're going all the way back there.
not being able
That's
be
for me.
able-
It's
being
fine.
He makes fun
curious,
of me all the time. It's okay.
me being curious how he invokes
I mean,
like certain images or connections with people.
I feel like I go through kind of like cycles or like even like phases because I've been coaching for a while a bit now. Because like, well, also the time like my client age, that's one thing. I probably will not be able to talk about that with a 10-year-old.
Yeah, that's why I don't coach.
I'm not, and I don't, and I have a bunch of 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to bring much of this stuff up. They're not gonna get it.
You can, just in different ways.
Yeah, maybe I need to work on that aspect of it. They try and make it a little easy to understand.
It's hard.
Yeah, and like, but because that's the thing. Like, I don't know, when you're at the job, you're like, okay, I need to help this person get to that, right? So it's like, try and just, what's the word? Get around the nuance and just get them to what they want.
Yeah, sometimes there's too much information.
Yeah,
For
too much
10-year-old,
information.
that's
And that's I think why I get stuck on the top of my own head. I'm like, okay, I know all these things, but I can't say all these things because we'd be here for 2-3 hours. So
And that's what you do. Well, when I get confronted with that, and I'm like, yeah, but this is what we need to do now. How do I accomplish this quickly?
yeah,
Go to Dominic's thought. How do I get the shoulder blades to just move oppositely with them not fully understanding the body mechanics behind it because they don't need to and they're not going to right now.
yeah,
But if I can get them to understand how to make the movement and why it's more beneficial than the other, then later down the line when you're still working with them and, you know, their brain cells have developed, you go, oh, maybe we
6
can
years
add
later,
that
6
stuff."
years, and they're gonna be up for 6 years.
My people develop
Human
in a few
people
months
stuff.
and we get through this stuff and it's fun. And so then I can talk about these things to 10-year-olds.
10-year-old girls usually. I
Yeah.
have one 10-year-old boy that I can like get into some nitty gritty type of stuff with, and he'll pretty much comprehend it. And he'll ask questions if he does it. But all other 10-year-old boys that I've coached, they're always just like, huh?
It's kind of almost like being able to identify that mindset. Like if they have the right mindset that they're ready to learn, they want to learn this, then okay, I can talk about it.
It's you too.
Yeah.
You know, don't put it all. It's half you, half
Yeah.
them. It's 100% you and 100% them. Like, let's be real.
It's a relationship.
Yeah.
But yes, it is mindset. So it's like, oh, your mindset's over here. I'll work with your mind over there. Let's see what we get done over there.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I've noticed that doctors and attorneys tend to want things broken down into like steps and individual things, movement wise. And then it seems like engineers typically understand mechanics a little bit better and they flow a little bit better. And then I find that people who are more naturally athletic in general, when you try to break down things into steps, it doesn't make sense to them. And they have to do it sort of like as a flow. Like everything has to kind of come together.
You like jazz? It's all about jazz. Playing
It is.
That's
what it is.
classical music.
Right. So for the people that have everything broken down in steps, they have to learn how to play classical music first, and then I teach them how to play jazz.
Now we're on music. Yep.
But it is. It's a syncopation, and if you
Yeah.
understand those things, it's really beneficial. And if you don't understand that, and you think everything is going to fall on the same beat every single time, I think you're going to be sorely disappointed, and you're thinking about swimming in probably a very mechanical, robotic way.
Yeah.
There's mechanics to it, but you are a human with, organic movements.
When was the last time you tripped?
Last time I tripped.
I don't trip.
Oh my God.
I'm tripping right now.
I tripped this morning.
I never.
Everyone feel better. I trip multiple times a day. I tripped this morning. I'll trip later, probably getting up from this chair. And how long have I been walking? 36 years. Well,
Really?
no, sorry.
Come out. You came out running.
Yeah, with the those legs.
My B. When do people start walking around?
I don't know, a year or two.
Okay, so I guess 35-ish years. 34 to 35 years.
Oh, kid.
Right? That's a long time to be doing something, and I still mess it up every day.
That same PT that told me about the exploded leg and the loading leg, he was also telling us that his kid started to stand and walk, and the first thing that he did was put his foot on his back and push him back down to the ground.
Yeah, a falling baby, falling kiss.
yeah.
Love it.
But his point was, so often people sort of like accelerate the walking and the standing of children, but they should have been crawling. They should have been spending more time crawling to build strength and to build connection and to build core strength so that they don't learn how to walk through compensation.
Ooh,
And then
that's
when they're
fascinating.
16 years old and they're incredibly pigeon-toed, it might have been preventable. All right, things like that. It's kind of an interesting thought. Like if babies were forced to crawl longer versus people so excited to get their kid walking around, which I never understood. I don't have kids. Listen, I will not have kids. But wouldn't you want them to keep crawling? They're way easier to manage, I would imagine. I know they can still move fast when they're crawling, but they can't pull things down like they can when they're standing.
We should just like crawl around the hallway like you were doing. Just do that with you.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder at what point you should be like, obviously it's a strength thing. Like, okay, now you can stand and walk, child, but at some point this happened too early.
That's almost like you get almost like it's like strength versus mobility, or it's kind of both. Does that kind of make sense?
Babies have amazing mobility. They don't have unique form.
Well, I mean, like how like what we're talking like making an adult crawl on land.
Right.
Like, I could put a freaking weight plate on their back. How would that actually be very helpful though? Like, what?
I think you put a weight plate on somebody's back, their body will naturally press against that weight. They won't. If their body fails, the weight will land and push their back down. But until that point, their body will naturally try to support that weight.
Then you get into what kind of resistance you want. Make them pull a sled, pull a car,
What about push a sled?
or push a car.
I'm sorry, you're right. The back of pushing.
I mean,
I've gone so far as to just remove the word entirely.
Well, like,
from my vocabulary.
what if you were facing the sled and you're pushing the ground back to your? Is it a pull or push?
let's pull.
But you're pushing into the ground to go back.
Yeah, but you're pulling the sled.
See? Words matter. You're so good.
Maybe context matters.
Yes.
Right. Maybe this is how you set up the scenario in the situation to say this is a push versus a pull.
Right.
So,
100%.
something that I've been doing with people recently, you know that saying, I've forgotten more about swimming than you know about swimming?
Oh, yeah.
People say about football all the time. You've never heard that, Ryan?
I don't watch football, so
No, people
culture, we don't know about
people
this.
say it about like anything. Like,
They say
I've
about any
forgotten
sport.
more about X than you'll ever
I've forgotten
know.
more about plumbing than you know about plumbing.
You're like,
It
"Okay."
fits for everything.
yeah.
And then you look at that person like, all right,
All right, fix my shit.
thank you.
Fix my plumbing then. So the other day, I was clearing out my hard drive with all these old videos, and I completely forgot that I used to make people do, I'm going to call it like a kayak drill, but I know people listening might not know what that is. They could find out. But it's almost like I was having them kick on their side with the exercise band being stretched in opposite arms.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so then it was almost like a 6-kick switch with the band. And I've been doing that with people to help them understand not to lift their arms up to get their arms out of the water. That if they're kicking on their side, whichever arm is down, if they continue to try to stretch the band out more and allow their shoulder blade to move in toward their spine, their arm will automatically come out of the water and come forward. And it is so interesting to watch. People go, I didn't think it was going to come out of the water.
Magic.
But
It's magic.
so I saw that video. I was like, oh, I haven't done that in forever. And then one of my clients, she had sort of injured her shoulder doing a couple of different things and not swimming stuff. And every time she was exiting the water with that arm, it would bother her shoulder. And so even though it wasn't much of a lift coming from her, it was enough to upset her shoulder. So we were doing that drill, and it gave her this like sense of control again, that she wasn't going to hurt her shoulder from exiting the water. But she also came to this conclusion that isn't true. It's not an accurate conclusion to come to, but I understood what she meant. She got to the point where she felt like if she stretched the band out and her arm exited the water, as long as she basically started to rotate, her arm would come forward. Like she felt like she didn't have to move her arm in order to recover, that the rotation was doing it. And that is not a true statement. However, it's almost true.
I was gonna say, if you use your core well enough, you could totally do that.
It's almost true, right? Because you only really use your shoulder joint in that moment, if you do it correctly, for about 2 inches.
I say your lat and your oblique are
Right?
supporting
The rest of it is the shoulder blade moving with the core. So
That's why core is down back.
you like core?
I love it. Obliques, low, top abs, transverse, all the
All right.
things.
So anyway, it's
Inner blades.
It's a continuing to push motion. And when you think about a pushing motion, I don't know if shoulder blades in your mind go in, but they should go inward as you press your hand outward. Shoulder blades should go inward, and that's what takes your arm out of the water, plus your rotation, not your shoulder joint, not your elbow. That drives me fucking crazy to be told that I pull my elbow out of the water. Ugh. Please don't do that. I'm glad that you just said that in unison. That was not rehearsed or planned. So yeah, I have found that to be a really helpful way to get people to feel that recovery should be automatic, that their shoulder blades passing by each other causes the rotation, and that rotation now is automatic. And so all the only thing they have to do is make sure they're working their core the right way, and everything kind of just falls into place. And if you're using your arms correctly, your core reacts to how your arms are being used, so your core will turn on and off appropriately as long as you have your core set up in the right way.
It's so good. Your core.
That's hardcore.
It's magic. It does so many things. It takes a very long time to strengthen and understand. For me, it took me years. But it's fascinating. I really do think it's like magical. The more you think about it, when are you not using your core?
People do it all the time.
I know.
When you're,
And hence when
That's why I said
when
it
they
takes
hurt
like
themselves.
years of understanding.
I was
It's
saying
just-
like when you're sleeping, maybe. I don't know. That depends.
I mean, you're breathing, and so you're using respiratory muscles, and your core muscles are respiratory muscles,
Respiratory or diaphragm.
which is
Should be working. But yeah, it's kind of connected. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
intercostals,
Yeah.
scalenes. Those are all respiratory muscles. My favorite thing to
scalenes.
tell someone is that their tricep is a respiratory muscle, because it is.
You preview your tricep.
It's connected to your shoulder blade.
I was wondering, wait, should I elbow, shoulder blade, which one?
It's connected to your shoulder blade, right? So triceps kind of like a back muscle more than an arm muscle. So it's something I always try to like.
Oh.
It's one of those weird things that I try to get people to go, oh, that's really weird. I never thought about it like that. And then it sticks with them.
Yeah.
Because we should be using
Yeah.
our backs to swim just like we should be using our butts to run. So that means we should be using triceps because they are back muscles.
And you should use your knees lift. Don't break your back with your couch. I'm just making jokes. Use your knees!
Your knees. We don't mean that. That's a joke.
What should they use?
I mean, I've done that and it hurt my back. So I don't want to hurt my back.
Brian is 26 years old.
Yeah.
It will hurt his back.
Well, it's a point.
Then moving up.
Use your glutes. Stabilize yourself with your core.
There you go.
That's the answer, right?
Yeah. I think that's the answer.
Yeah.
Use your core.
I'm going with that. Yeah. If when in doubt, use your core.
So this is all reminding me. This is kind of what I was subtaught, but I went to the Ultimate Frisbee with my roommate a couple weeks ago, and
God,
I
I
don't
need that
run.
game.
I love Ultimate Frisbee.
well also like we went to this meetup group thing, and like really it like sounded like, oh, it's for casuals, like casual people. We're like, cool. Everyone was like a college athlete
Yep.
or like high school like player, and we're like,
Welcome
what?
to
You know, I
DC.
cleats, and we're like
Cleats. Nice.
and I'm like, you didn't even tell me to bring cleats. They're different shoes, and I think I took one in like 2 times, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm not gonna hurt myself more with this. This is not worth it.
You're not used to cutting.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I like the thing. Like I do some stuff when I train myself, but yeah, like that's on a field playing the actual game. I'm like, yeah, I've been anything like cutting sport since I was like 13 or 14, so it's been a decade. Woo!
I've literally never done that.
And I mean,
can't make
it was
me move
fun, but even my roommate, we're like, that was not chill. That was not chill at all. Why the heck can we agree to do this?
Yeah, not playing Frisbee in the park on
Casual.
the afternoon. We used to, when I was at Asphalt Green, my admin assistant and I, almost every lunch break we had, we would go, so Asphalt Green has a turf field in the middle of, the Upper East Side. in Manhattan. So it's like really cool and really
So
special.
cool, yeah.
So we would go and play ultimate frisbee, just him and I. Like we might like get some like adding people from around the building to come play with us, or
Yeah.
some other coaches. But yeah, we used to play it almost every day. Just like a 30-minute, 40-minute pickup game.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so much fun. So much fun.
Well, so
Can't handle stuff.
I don't know that. Now,
So why did you bring up ultimate frisbee?
I don't remember why, honestly. I think I was thinking about cutting and all that kind of stuff, and how like as a swimmer, I never have to do that, so I never really train that too often, and that kind of gets into like knee mechanics, hip mechanics, all those kind of things.
I mean, it's a good argument to say that you should not just do one sport.
Yeah.
Especially as you age, you need to be varied.
Now
Unless it's
now we're gonna try volleyball. We're gonna do how
Are you
that
gonna do
goes.
like beach volleyball and just do
No,
doubles?
we're probably gonna indoors because it's winter
Well,
right
winter,
now.
yeah.
So we're probably gonna like try it indoors at some point and just see how it goes. Hopefully it goes better than.
Are there? Do you know where sand courts are around here?
There's one at
Arlington has a
yeah there's one near Sunbox. What's that some league team something
overly.
oh they have a sand thing there.
They
do.
will not let you
Yeah, that's
use
a-
that
Yeah,
without being a member.
That was the one I've seen around.
They have public courts by Wakefield High School. I'm sorry,
Say when the weather gets better and warmer,
Lee High School.
I will absolutely play.
Liberty. Sorry, they call it Liberty. Washington and Liberty.
Yes.
They have a bunch
I will
of public courts.
absolutely play sand volleyball with you guys. Absolutely.
Hate people who play sand volleyball. Hey, bro, let's go.
That's literally me. You literally just told everyone that you hate.
I hate my husband. Guys. I don't know. I mean,
I think we
it's
had this
the things you
conversation.
find
Maybe
out.
it's you.
That volleyball?
Hold on. This was the thought. I think I do a better job in beach or sand volleyball because I think I jump better on sand than most people do versus on like hardwood,
Yeah.
a basketball court. I think I don't jump that much anymore, so I'm probably actually below average. Just average, really. But on sand, I think I actually jump better than above average.
We did talk about it a
Remember
little
this?
bit because I was talking about my vertical jump height, and that's when you went into the whole conversation. I was okay, yeah, vertical jump. I want to train that more.
Right. And you had a thought about why you thought maybe I did jump better on sand. Do you remember it?
It's just in relation.
IR.
Yeah, your structure.
Can you explain what IR
I was
means?
gonna say,
Internal-
just say
so-
that.
IR versus ER, internal rotation versus external rotation. Is understanding that your hips and your shoulders are all ball and socket joints, and they either externally rotate or internally rotate. When you, like, let's say, imagine you're throwing a baseball, for example. When you bring your hand back, that's you bring your shoulder into external rotation before you throw the ball forward, which is now internal rotation. It kind of goes from that whole point we were talking about earlier about how I'm already losing my train of thought about like the opposites of the same coin, push and pull. It's that same concept. They're both you need both to perform an action, and this gets into how internal rotation, external rotation are affected by the shape of your joints, your hips, your range of motion. Right? Like I was saying earlier, how like muscles are determined by position or by bone joint position. Right? Yep. And then we get into structure and all that kind of stuff, and I'll not go down that rabbit hole.
Nope.
I do love how excited you get when you talk about
External rotation.
yes, it's really everything. That's how I view like movement on land in general. It's literally everything that we can do all the time. But how you're structured can affect how much external versus internal rotation you have, and also the activities that you do. For example, a swimmer, because we're horizontal all the time, we need a lot of external rotation, and because we're not really pushing into much but water, right? It's not a solid object. You don't need as much internal rotation versus like a runner, for example, who would have to push into the ground to propel themselves forward, right? So when you think about sand, how it's not it's shifty, it's not solid.
Yep.
It requires more contact time to jump, to instantly rotate, to get off the ground, right? Versus pushing off land or pushing off water. You want to try jumping off water? Good luck with that.
I've seen it. I saw it on TikTok.
Oh my gosh. Everything can happen on TikTok.
But yeah, we just talking about you already all about my whole train of thought now. Talking about why you're probably better at pushing off sand. you said you were a runner, right? So you're probably more biased in that direction. So I would be surprised that you're probably feeling better at pushing off sand than maybe other people
And this is
want.
also compared to the people I was playing with too.
Yeah.
I thought I was getting a little bit higher up than they were. But
Yeah.
I'm old now, so I have no idea.
If I'm old
We'll
now-
find out.
Where am I jumping?
Let's go find out now.
I gotta start jumping more for sure. I
Yeah.
went and swam a couple of weeks ago, and my feet got so tired from pushing off of the wall.
That's so fascinating. Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that.
I never perform that action ever anymore.
It is like a use it or lose it situation. I mean, I think I took that like my 66-year-old client. Shout out to him, by the way.
Shout him out. What's his name?
Jerry.
Shout out to Jerry.
Love it
Jerry.
down. Jerry. But yeah, he's in insanely good shape for his age. He can still jump, which is impressive to see.
Yeah, that's great.
And like literally, as like one of my clients, I'm like planning. I'm like, all right, I'm just, like literally everything I'm taught in my degree and certification. Like, oh, if they're over 50, don't do it. It's not worth the risk. I'm like,
But if they're already doing it,
if they're already doing it. Like you gotta keep doing it. Don't just like stop because I'm old now. Like
so I've got to start jumping before I turn 50. 50.
by
50?
by the
50.
MTSA, by a lot of our degree programs. Yes, no, it's just interesting how like that's literally we was in the test kind of. But yeah, like it's a user lose situation. You have to kind of train a little bit. Try jump roping.
Jump roping is so hard.
I've done a lot of jump roping. I just haven't done it in a while, but I think I cheat. Like doing like calf raises and things like that because my ankles are so flexible. I think I get into the joint and avoid my calves and I avoid my feet. So I can be like
Yeah.
super mindful of it.
I used to be really, really good at jump roping, and then I stopped for a while. Then I hurt my Achilles. Then I've been slowly getting back into it a little bit. And yeah, it's like I like it because it just teaches rhythm, teaches like jumping mechanics. Definitely don't like go for like very long. You can't, right?
2 minutes at a time.
Yeah, I was gonna say like you want it's like any kind of muscle thing, right? You want to train it up over time to develop that stiffness or that kind of springy like action you want. Because yeah, if you feel like your ankles are super lax, I remember you talking about how you hurt your ankle sleeping.
Yeah. Just don't do it.
Comforter.
Yeah, so
Be careful with your comforters.
He's got very flexible ankles, and that's where like you have to be kind of careful with how you train it because you do need stiffness because you live on land.
Right. I'm not a blob that just gets to float around and
Go live in water. Just go back to water.
Maybe I will start jumping rope. That's a really good idea, actually. We used to do as part of our dryland circuit in college was always like 3 minutes or 4 minutes, and if you tripped or something, you like miss a jump, you had to start all over again. It was like it was
That's
so frustrating.
terrible.
It was so
Was
frustrating.
it jump roping? What was it?
It was jump roping.
Okay.
But it was like a 2 minute. Yeah. 2 minutes, and if you made a mistake, that 2 minutes.
Unless
started
your
over
mind
again.
wanders for 1 second, you're screwed.
Uh-huh.
What do I want for lunch? God damn it.
I just need to do like, crisscrosses and high knees and stuff like that.
Did
Yeah.
you do double unders?
I do triple
Yes. I do doubles.
Ugh, I
don't know
remember
if
learning those.
I won't able to do it a couple times, but like triples, I was happy when I was able to do it. But I can double or down if I want to. So
I
Would it
don't know if
be-
I could still do that. I haven't done those in
Would it be
years.
wise to use jump rope as a warm up, like if I was before I lifted?
Isn't that not enough of a warm up?
Seems like it'd be a lot of
you
warm up.
can get it to that. I mean, like I said, warm up's like 5 or 10 minutes to get your core heart rate up. I mean, you can like build
I will work it in.
You can build it like walk on the treadmill for a couple minutes, then get into jump roping. Like, because like I said, I think I have a similar thing. I don't run very often. When I try to run, I feel it in my ankle sometimes, like roll accident. I'm like, why did I roll my ankle? What?
For me, I have never sprained an ankle, ever,
Yeah.
and it's because I have loose ankles.
I've never sprained an ankle either.
I've had my foot, like my ankle, land on the ground almost. I come, my foot turned inside, did not sprain it.
It could be genetics. My dad, my brother are big basketball players, and my brother, his whole career was just plagued with ankle injuries. So, I mean, I never played basketball that much, but yeah, maybe it started at a very ugly head now. It's like
There you go.
you can't run a lot now. You keep spraining your ankle.
I said I never sprained an ankle running, but I sprained my ankle sleeping. So I've got that going for me.
impressive.
Yeah, put that in your cap.
Be careful. Be careful sleeping.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. Any last words from Ryan? Is this your first podcast ever that you've ever done?
Yes, it is.
Glad that we can share
Yes,
that experience
it
with
was-
you. I actually gonna point out, I believe you listened to our old podcast forever
Smell the
ago,
box, yep.
right?
Oh man.
So that must be kind of weird for you, right? You
This
used to
is-
listen and now you are.
This is
No, you are.
this is a weird.
full circle.
Yeah, it's
Come
it's
of
an interesting journey, to say the least. It's like,
So
podcast now.
now, since this is your first podcast, and we've covered a lot of things in this podcast, hopefully someone said something helpful
Hopefully.
from it, or at least they were entertained in some way.
They went.
Anything you like to say? Final words?
Give it to you. Rotation is a fundamental component of good movement,
Not just swimming.
not just something.
Ta-da! Bye.